What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo. All right. What we have before you today in this match, I've already recorded it. I'm doing the intros at the end so I can talk about what happened. Amazing game. This is Ropz playing in his debut, joining FaZe. This is Ropz reuniting with Kerrigan, and it's their first time playing Overpass. Yesterday, it was 5 Inferno games in a row. It was so crazy. Everyone was so mad and tilted. Honestly, I thought it was pretty cool to watch all these teams play Overpass or Inferno over and over again, match up versus each other, and then we could see the differences. And it actually made it fun to cast as well for all the people who were watching throughout the whole day. But the final match was Overpass, and we got to see Vitality play with Magisk and Dupree and see how they fit into Vitality, and we got to see the FaZe rematch versus them after they lost really one-sided, or actually blew an entire CT half versus them on Inferno. And on Overpass, we also got to see how Ropz fit in to FaZe, and that's what we're watching today. And I'm watching the video from beginning to end. I casted the game yesterday. Every round was amazing. This is one of my favorite demos that I've ever done on this channel, period. I try not to say that as often as possible. The Stound demo from the top 20, Perfecto demo that I did, way back. There's a few that stand out, Almanac. This is one of them. This is a top 5 game that I've ever done on this channel. It is such an extraordinary game. I would bet that if you ask Ropz, this is one of his favorite performances ever. Even though it's like online, it is such a sick debut. He shows proficiency on the T side. He shows absolute world-class level aim, game sense. He played almost every single spot on Overpass on the CT side. We see him get kills on the wood wall on Monster, on the boost, at the back of the site, in stairs, pushing up with Rain outside A, playing A for a number of rounds, everything. So enjoy this one. It's my favorite Overpass demo ever. Definitely. Love this. Beautiful game. I'm going to cut this intro short, let you enjoy the game. It's not a super funny... It wasn't my best day in terms of demo reviews, but it was just such a good game. So I hope you enjoy it. Not too many jokes today, but just pure entertainment and education. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into the match. Yeah, you already know what it is. All right, Ropz on Overpass versus Vitality. This is the debut from Ropz. Man, he cleaned up. Okay, I think he finished the day with a 1.47 T-side rating. All right, let's go ahead and skip through even a kill on the knife round. Let's go ahead and see how this game went, man. This game is ridiculous. If you watched it live, it was an absolute monster match from Ropz. It was one of the most, honestly, it's just one of the most impactful performances I've ever watched. It was a game where it had everything. It had the great quick headshots, clean frags. Ropz was feeling it from a mechanical standpoint, but then it also had the cerebral stuff. It had the wall bangs. And then beyond that, it had layers. On CT side, sometimes if you're playing too well, one team avoids you. In this game, Ropz was, when he was done working on B site, he started going over to the A site. There was just so many layers to this performance, and there was just nothing that Vitality could do. And the craziest part is that in those first few rounds, Vitality were destroying. They won the second round to steal it back on the eco. Zywoo was at 10-2 to kick the game off. It felt like, okay, Vitality are just going to own. And then instead what happened was, whoa, everyone from Twist was quietly still doing well. Everyone from FaZe, excuse me. Everyone from FaZe was still doing well. Twist still got up, almost matched Ropz in terms of pure frags, but Ropz's impact overall was like just the highest on the server. It was just such a crazy sight to watch. And of course, we're always so happy to watch games on 1920 by 1080, right? I think he's at 1.77 at 400 on the sensitivity. I'll bring up the pro settings after if I remember correctly. Oh, and it starts with this round. Zywoo, I think, got 3 kills, P250, cleaned everyone's clocks. But Ropz still here. One chance, one shot, instant to the head. Look how he's playing the game right now, man. He's playing it like an RTS. You just control the units, and they always hit the shot. You know what I mean? Perfect on the one punish. Zywoo would not peek that again. He beat that shot just to check on where Ropz is, make sure it slows him down. He's got to eventually win the engagement. But Ropz is too sharp. That is just ridiculous from Ropz in the 1v2 to kick things off. And nobody in the world has ever seen FaZe Ropz, number 1. Number 2, nobody in the world has ever seen FaZe Ropz Overpass. And so that was the other thing. Yesterday, almost every single game was an Inferno match. It was like 5 Inferno games out of 6. And this is the last game of the day. I was casting this one, the final 3 games. Oh, the deep monster flash. Okay, it looks like they're pushing off of that together. I remember when they did this here. So yeah, we're going to see Vitality end up winning this round. We're also going to see how, and I think a lot of it had to do with ZywOo especially. But things just get so nasty in this match. I really can't wait for this game to get started. And this is one of those games that's like a perfect demo to watch because it's one where you got some of the details by watching the match live, but you didn't get all of them. All right, see that ZywOo kills Ropz there after that 1v2. And I think in the cast immediately I was like, okay, quick revenge. ZywOo's pissed. You know, here's Vitality. They're back. And earlier in the day, Vitality beat, I almost said Mouse Sports, beat FaZe. We got 2/5 of Mouse Sports, eh? We got Kerrigan and Ropz on the same team. And my prediction for this team, when the announcement happened, I was like, all right, direct upgrade, man. You know, Olaf's obviously a legend of the game, but Ropz is unmatched at the moment in terms of his brand in this game as the kind of lurker that he is. He's a guy who's supposed to be up there fighting with the Nico, Simple, ZywOos of the world. And everyone can see that. But in terms of his style, he's not as versatile as someone like Nico, who plays equally aggressive, gets tons of opening frags. But Ropz in this FaZe debut was going out and getting some of those opening kills. And I think that's really important because right now FaZe have, you know, Kerrigan and Rain up front. And it's a debut, you know, and it's a honeymoon with this new lineup. So everyone's going to be ultra motivated. And Kerrigan and Rain were both doing well. I expect it, obviously, for Rain to be more consistent than Kerrigan on that front. But my point is just this, that this team is probably going to be stronger with the back three players, the core players of the team, with Twist, Ropz, and Brokey. But these players are more explosive than they are aggressive. And the distinction is that a long time ago I did an interview with Twist, and he said that I was like, yeah, a lot of people, you know, you're a really aggressive player, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, actually, I wouldn't view myself as an aggressive player. That's what he said. This is way back, like TSM Twist or whatever it was. And he said, I would look at myself more as explosive. And I was like, huh, I never thought about that. But it's true. He's a mid-round rifler. He's a guy who, he moves with tempo. I mean, he's never slow, but at the same time, he's not just a pure entry fragger on the team, even though he's got the aim to do it. Instead, he's more the guy who can just get that crazy 3K, as we saw in the Inferno match, right, in overtime, where they played versus Liquid, or right before overtime. Twist really saved the day with that 3K, and that was an explosive 3K, but it wasn't necessarily an aggressive 3K. And I think we have that same... you can define Brokey the same way. Explosive but not aggressive. Really good at multi-fragging, but definitely, you know, lacking on the initiative front. And now you have Ropz, who probably leans, if there is going to be sort of this spectrum, he leans a little bit more to passive. Now, I don't want to say he's a passive player. And again, in this honeymoon, in this debut, he shows he is a two-way player and someone who really changed the game on T-side especially. But that's kind of his brand. And if it's going to stay like that, he's not going to be able to compete with players like Nico and Simple and ZywOo in terms of pure stats. And I don't think that's the first thing on his mind. In fact, I don't think that's the first thing on anyone on FaZe's mind. I think FaZe definitely care more about the team and winning tournaments. And I'm sure the individual accolades are very nice. But I think a lot of these players are tired of losing events, right? Not so worried about how good they look. I think they're all pretty happy about the team that they put together, as are the fans. And now it's simply about, can we bring those results, right? Can we bring those results? Because FaZe were so close to having a roster to do it. And now, and then it got to the point where it was like, whoa, how long would this project last? How many losses can you take? And here's the first kind of shining moment for Ropz. All right, let's just pay attention to how he spams, because Masuda gets taken out, and he, every time that we see his name in the kill feed on these spams, he has absolutely drilled his opponents. I mean, okay, right here, he spotted one. Timing on that. Waiting for Apex for himself to line up a spam in response. Perfect alignment from Ropz. The visualization is extraordinary. And maybe Mo can include that cute little X-ray thing that he did for Napfly in the top 20 video, so you can see what that looked like. But that was pretty much Ropz all game, just basically being the Terminator. But this level of overpass is like another level. Like if Ropz could play like this all the time, FaZe will easily be the best overpass team in the world. I'll say that with confidence, because a lot of Vitality's game plan was taking short control, and they're actually using Magisk to do that, in case you were curious. Because, of course, Magisk and Dupree coming over from FaZe. We got a lot of debuts on new teams to go through, and I'm going to go through all of them, I think. But instead of FaZe actually pushing and taking over short B control man-to-man, they used Ropz behind the walls just to go for those targeted spams. And they were so successful it almost never needed to. There was one round that Kerrigan ends up pushing as Ropz is spamming the walls, and then he pushes short, and Magisk is actually still waiting for him and kills him. I think this might be the moment. So Kerrigan's kind of trying to go out the fact that Ropz has been an absolute nuisance. And he's finding him. You know when they shoot back that they got hit. It's honestly the case very often. And a lot of this is timings, right? Where Apex was, where people are going to set up. And that's Magic's getting the kill on Kerrigan as Ropz is going for the spam. And this is a ridiculous round from Twist as well, actually. He stays alive for this long. He even throws his own smoke to put out the incendiary. Ropz is still alive in the pit, which means that they can't scale. And that's it. Twist stays alive to get another kill. It's all over. Okay, that was a funny moment. Okay, Twist dies because he's like, the joke was that Twist goes, so you just shoot right here at this time? And then boom. He takes one in the head. Ropz like, I'll handle it from now on, all right? I got it down to a science. It's an art for you, it's a science for me. And he's still hitting him. And now we're seeing from his POV, he didn't even see them all that often. We had one round with like confirmation. Oh, this is beautiful to refrag on Magis too. Look at that reposition from Ropz. He got deep in that angle quickly. And you see Ropz most of the time, he's going slow, he's walking. But he's just a ultra intelligent life form, He knows how to move when he needs to. He just makes everything look so elegant. Oh, and talking about elegant. Let's pay attention to this maneuver right here. First, we got the kill on Magisk off short. Now we're sitting on the wood wall. We're clearly worried about B. You can see from the yellow player in heaven, he's ready for the flash. Ropz ready for the turn. He doesn't see anything there. Ropz going to clear things out. He takes a fast step, so it's a little committal. And now he'll spot two. His own smoke. His own flash again, actually. And wow, using a couple of bullets, but look, he's still got 6. 6 in the mag, 5 in the mag now. Totally aware of what he got. And instead of actually continuing to fight through, there comes back to kill Monster. 13 bullets left over now, as the 2 remaining players have nothing to do, and they both got hit from those earlier spams. You're looking at Masuda and Apex with like 50 HP combined. Ropz just managed his ammo, flashed for himself twice, used his smoke, got the opening kill, took down Zywoo, who was supposed to be the guaranteed refrag on Ropz when he's reloading, then took Zywoo's gun and had more bullets, so he never had to reload in that entire situation. So masterfully handled, and it's just terrifying when you see plays like that. Every bit of that was just something that you basically don't see anybody else doing. Especially the ammo management part, Put Apex in that situation, and his mag is gone before you can say it, right? He's going to be crouch spamming and sliding across your screen, shooting as fast as he can. But Ropz knows that every bullet in his gun can be a headshot. And I think that's the main difference between him and just your regular pro. He's also one player where he definitely has great reaction times, but he doesn't show it off, right? He will never sacrifice speed for accuracy. And he knows that his accuracy is so good that if somebody takes more than one bullet to kill him, he will most of the time be able to take his time, line up that headshot, and always hit that first. And obviously, it's just sick to watch. And when he's playing this well, it's so nice for the frag highlights because he's never spraying, right? He's like burst firing most of the time. I feel like I want Ropz to manage my life and investments. You know what I mean? I don't want. I hope that if I get somebody to handle all of my accounting and manage my investments, that they play CS like Ropz. You know what I mean? We often don't get to see you know, the branch manager at our bank play CS. But I think we should. I think we should get to see it. And I would hope that it looks like this. Just free haircuts today for Ropz. Or for everyone else. He's the barber. And here's the thing, you know. We got a stairs play. We had some B presence. But really, Ropz is the one floating the most on this team. And now we're in the second part of the first half. He's over at long A, of all places. And he's supporting Rain on this push. Rain has always been the aggressive player on A-side overpass for FaZe Clan. And look, careful as ever. You know, first bullet doesn't go in. Still only comes down to a burst at the end of the day. Perfect timing. Shot on the side of the head. And now we get out of there. And we are in a position where, because of how well Ropz is playing, you better believe that Vitality are going to be thinking, look at that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He doesn't even instant flick. He sees Dupree, reacts, aims for the head, shoots. He doesn't simply flick. Man, we saw that from Dupree's POV. It looked so disgusting. Like, it looked like an instant first bullet headshot. We look at that from Ropz's POV. It's relatively calm. Like, it is fast, but it's still relatively calm. Oh, I thought I messed the demo up. And that's what it is. You know, that shot's out of his range in terms of, like, just like, here, I got to hit this hard flick. And if you really believe you're going to die, you know, you do go for the hard flick. But the point is that most of the time, I'm going to say 99% of the time. Okay, maybe not 99% of the time at the pro level, but even at the pro level, it's not the first bullet that kills. You know what I mean? It does take a second or two. A good spray is really important in CS. And you can't always be this level. And even Ropz is not always this level. But he's usually pretty close. And for that reason, he can play like this most of the time. But even if you don't, it adds to your consistency. Oh, that's such a beautifully coordinated. The jump spot, he sees Apex. Apex shoots, Brokey punishes. Wow. And now he's over on the B side. Just lights out. Okay, this is a huge mistake. Well, let's pay attention to the mini-map here. Now that we see how this position got settled, when I was in the cast, I was like, I don't want to hand out blame to the wrong player here because they're both contributing to the setup. And I did say Kerrigan can see where Ropz is, whereas for Ropz, he can see on the mini-map where Kerrigan is, but not actually see him on his screen. So when it comes to watching this angle, this is obviously just fundamental stuff right here that they both know. It was just a small gap in the awareness or a mistake or a calculated risk from Kerrigan, or really he thought that short was going to get taken. But in this moment, Ropz is holding for a monster walkout. But you can see his angle, right? He's holding for a monster walkout once you get all the way to the grading. It's so far that someone has to go out for him to get this kill. And Kerrigan is just fully exposed with the side of his body sitting on the site. So if someone comes out monster, they get to see Kerrigan before they see Ropz. Not to spoil anything. And this will also be the first time I think we see Ropz miss a couple of shots. Yeah, and he gets some damage in, but he doesn't get the kill. And so that angle is fine that Ropz plays. Very common spot to play to hold monster, and it can even be used to activate on a play versus short. And if Magics had come out of short, they were double reinforced for that play. But in that situation, Kerrigan sitting where he did obviously didn't make a lot of sense in correlation to what we saw from Ropz there. Now, Ropz could have moved, but it's really Kerrigan who can move more easily, right? Ropz picked this spot. Kerrigan can see him. He knows what risks he's exposing himself to. And monster walkouts are not like, you know, the most uncommon thing in the world. But definitely the way Kerrigan thinks about the game is he knows all the percentages and everything like that. And, yeah, I mean, he knows the game inside out, of course. But he still tries to balance between his, you know, what he knows and his intuitions. Like when it comes to calling gamble stacks, how he calls his T sides, which sometimes feel a little bit too scrimmy, but still can work and catch other teams off guard. Well, look at the Liquid game. In my opinion, Liquid played better for the majority of the second half, and FaZe still won like all but 3 T rounds and got to overtime and then won it overtime off the back of some really ridiculous, individual performances, but also Kerrigan's calling. Here's another great round from Ropz, actually. So we talk about compromising spots a lot, and basically, think about your thousands of hours on any map, right? This is what it comes down to. Where Ropz is standing is an off angle to fight against long. Yes, if someone comes out long, they're going to look in this direction, but they're probably going to clear the corner of the truck and on the truck first, and maybe, swing out really wide, thinking that it's only going to be in the bathrooms. This position on the site cannot be played in any round that you don't have bathrooms control like this with 2 players, right? Because you can't watch the entirety of bathrooms without 2 players or 1 player and a smoke. And in this spot, Ropz is in a position that's opened up on the very rare occasion that we see before us that they have 2 players to hold this. So this is a really great way to abuse that fact, and this allows him to get the advantage on the fights if it comes towards A. He actually got a tag here off that molly. Utility usage has been super solid for Ropz. And he's just double checking, and he can see now the site smokes are going to start coming out. And again, he's not going to get cleared on the back of default, and he doesn't have to worry about that swing at all. He can pick his timing whenever he wants. Right there off the side. Apex tucks, he's so scared, and Ropz just handled the last fight. Zaibu, instant clothesline. I mean, beautiful stuff. Wow, this is already one of the best demos ever watched on this channel. Like, it's so packed with amazing moves almost every single round. So many great shots. Beautiful map, man. I was looking forward to the Ropz, Ropz joining. I think this makes him definitely a dark horse for majors and everything like that. Role-wise, so many promising players. Twist, Brokey, Ropz, great core, everything. I think you at most have 2 players who might be inconsistent, and then 3 top 20 players, right? I think that's just a big, my opinion aside, that's just the facts. You've got 3 players who are going to consistently be in the top 20 straight up. And look, for the rest of this half, now he's just an A player, man. We've seen him get kills from the site, from long, inside stairs. Short B, held monster. He's played all 5 spots. And this is where Magic actually forgets about, well, doesn't forget about Ropz, but doesn't know that he's here. And I think Vitality, they're still learning about how Ropz is going to play on the team. So the more pervasive he is, I think the more it just benefits them. Now, there isn't really a way back into the round here for FaZe. All the site been taken, but okay, Ropz will grab another kill. Why not? Because it's just that kind of game. And something slightly different, back towards B. They CTs blow the door open. And when you blow the door open, you draw out some utility, you put some pressure. You also allow yourself to smoke spam here because that door is gone. So now your bullets are all doing 100 damage instead of just like 10 or 20 through that door. Being careful, but looking for all kinds of timings. Also that, like, nades like that aren't even possible if that door's not blown open. Plus, if there's any pressure in the stairs at all, then they might even have to re-smoke that. And that is just 2 smokes that you can't give up on T side. So really huge benefits for the CT side to have that door blown open on certain rounds. I think this is another position where he's kind of shoved out of it. Zai was looking for him. And Zai was makes a hell of a play to get through the site in this lurk. They're going to try to hunt him down. I think he gets out to B, and it'll just be a save. So we go into the last round of the first half. Let's see. Second cameo inside stairs. Oof. Dupree was destroying in stairs, actually. He killed Rain a couple of times. And that was just to say, honestly, I think the most important and impressive part about Magisk and Dupree in this game was that with, Ropz playing as well as he did, and how well FaZe recovered. They continued to get important kills and still believe in the half, I feel like. They showed like their best self in that from that perspective. Okay, now we looked at the first half. Zai was the #1 pistol player in the world. Ropz is really up there, I'm sure of it. I haven't looked at his stats specifically, but whoever you give the P250 to, you know, that's the highest honor, really. Let's see. Ropz can't get this kill. I think double flank. Hey, and he softens him up, helps out Twist. I think Ropz... Oh, maybe he doesn't die. I actually don't know. Kill and an assist. A little strafe just for a tiny bit of extra speed just to get out of there. Heaven's dead. No chance to rotate in. Ropz transposes into the back of the site. It's kind of a new round as they all get to face forward. And ZywOo nearly wins this round. It's damn close. Brokey outplays him, actually, by not peeking. Sandbags falling at the bluff. I think Ropz continues to do spam damage on this round. And this was the half where it's like, okay, let's try to illuminate either the follies of FaZe if they start to struggle on the CT side or on this T side, or highlight how Ropz is fitting in really well if T side goes well, because if it is, he probably is helping. And it was, dude, he over-delivered. I mean, we'll have to see, you know, what happens when the going gets tough. We'll have to see FaZe over a long period of time. It is just the debut again. But the style seems to make a lot of sense for the team and for Ropz. And, yeah, I mean, this T side showed that he's not scared. He's not a scared player, right? I mean, you could never look at him as a scared player. He's just careful. It's like the same difference between calling someone aggressive or explosive. It's like the connotation implies that you're kind of, you know, you're moving in a certain way. You're acting the same way, but the intent behind it is different. And I think it's really important to understand that, because Ropz, he doesn't afraid of anything. Sorry, my English is not too good today. Must be a Wednesday. Wow. Ropz throwing all the grenades as well. Skip past the Glocks, huh? Surely. Oh, no way. Oh, okay. Actually, that's fine. Basically, crazy fight in mid. Everyone pushed, and then they just stole some guns and ran back. So this is actually where it even gets even more interesting. So, no armor here for Ropz, 49 HP. I can't remember where the rest of the kills come. Oh, yeah, Ropz wins this duel versus Magisk. This was actually still a free round. Even though there was 2 players up, all 3 FaZe players are low. No armor on Ropz. I didn't even notice that in the cast. And Masuda full HP with nades. That's the HE coming through. And Ropz, oh, he stays calm. Another ridiculous headshot. Another key frag. And another clutch. Historically, tons of great, you know, insane players have played the B lurking position. I mean, even Axile this year is not someone who's necessarily the lurker of the team. Plays, you know, defaults B on overpass. Nico is one of the most famous. Okay, Ropz sees a little feat. Let's see how he actually approaches this. I remember him winning an engagement from outside Monster, which is just key, and I'll take a peek. Trying to punch that jump spot right now. Okay, smoke comes down. Let's fast forward past this smoke. Another smoke comes down. Time is not on their side. Okay, he'll end up dying. But, yeah, it's pretty common because overpass feels like an enormous map. I don't know if it officially is. It feels really big because op angles are very powerful. Silence M4, AUG, things like that. Double op is very common on this map. CT side can be very oppressive towards the T side on this map very early into the round. So that can make things quite uncomfortable. So that means there's lots of space for teams to lurk, play it slowly on T side, try to just scrape back as much map control as they can first before starting the round off. It also means that you can just do things like walk out Monster, take short control fast if you'd like to, and that's where if you have players like Ropz or Nico or Axile or some other B lurkers, they can both be themselves in the sense of like playing slow and lurking, but also be at the front of the duels and win versus Monster players, which is a very tenuous location for the CT side right now in the current meta. There is so much abuse towards the CTs that are playing around Monster. And I feel like the #1 game plan for a lot of the CT teams, or a lot of the T teams right now in Overpass, is if you see that one team is not playing enough players towards Monster, so no one playing the right cubby outside Monster, +1 on the half wall, they're not re-smoking constantly, then you should go out Monster a lot, because it's very strong for the Ts to approach. Okay, Ropz doesn't see anything right now. We'll spot one, and look, he actually stays patient. He's waiting for counter grenades. No mollies coming right here. Just straight up wins his duel versus Magisk and pulls back like he never entered the site. And that is just a free 5v4 advantage. And look, you know you're going to draw out more utility in response to this because the CTs have to come and clear this out. That incendiary, $600. That smoke, $300. You know? And no damage in response. But they have to do it. And the upside for them is that, yeah, they can clear this out and now start to open up, like, playing spots around the half wall. But they're a player down. So if any re-aggression comes in, that's going to be very powerful. So, wow, they approach towards the site. Masuda goes for the peek. Ropz insta kills him. I mean, that is more of a frantic shot than the one versus Dupree earlier in the game, honestly. It's just, that's a pure reaction, but it's, like, right in his range, and he's so damn consistent with it. It's going to be up there all time. Not my best demo review in the sense that I don't feel super funny today. I feel like I'm not speaking clearly right now. I've been kind of tired lately. But in terms of games that I've watched, one of the most hearty, right? It's one of the most nutritious. And also entertaining, like striking that balance. Crazy moves. Lots of smart plays. Lots of great shots. Had it all. I gotta assume this is one of his favorite maps that he's ever played, honestly. Even though he's had so many, you know, almost record-setting performances. So quiet. You can even hear the echo of that scout. Oh, man. Dude. The killing does not stop. I think at this point he was like 26 and 8 or 7. I'll check after the game. And that's, you know, that's not an opening kill, but it kind of is in the mid-round, right? It has the same effect here. Just totally changes the rotations. They now pick a site, and they get this plant off. And this is Brokey, Twist, and Ropz all working together as the core, again, of FaZe, which was kind of a cool thing to observe. Moving really well. I don't know how much dead calling Kerrigan does on this team. Sometimes dead calling is, you know, necessary, good, but sometimes it's better to just let your teammates mid-round if they're, you know, capable and comfortable. Because the guy who's alive always has a better feeling for the round. The guy who's switching perspectives might have some ideas, but they might not actually be right in the context of all the information one guy has. Zonic has talked about this a little bit. He says that he doesn't like to coach the live rounds. He said for the same reason, like he always felt like the in-game leader has a better feeling for the game when it's live, so stays out of that. But sometimes it is helpful, especially when certain players lack communication, even at the pro level. And I don't know about every player, but at this point, you know, I've heard a lot of reviews and stuff like about certain players, and everybody changes, but communication is one of those real black boxes in CSGO. Like, it's such an important thing, and you can see sometimes hints of where it matters or where it has an impact, and you kind of have to put the pieces together and listen to the interviews and stuff like that, or just talk to players. Not even reloading. Just trusting 14 bullets in the gun. Looking for a way in. You can see he's trying to go for the aggressive lurks. Masuda smartly calls him out after what we saw from that last round. Doing what Ropz did to Magisk earlier in the first half. And, oh, okay, I think we remember this round. Yeah. Rain basically just kills everybody. I can't switch POVs, but I'm sure it was great. I'm sure it was great. Yeah, this is just over. He didn't have to do anything. Beautiful round from Rain to end things off. Fantastic demo. I mean, amazing. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard. and take a look at the pro settings for Ropz. So Peter, who is big boss man at HLTV, written as consultant, tweets out a lot of great stats. He's a great follow, just kind of just puts it plain as day. Here are some cool things to look at, interesting stats. We'll often talk about records and stuff like that. Great person to follow. But in this main stars of the day, for all the maps, this is 4 maps that Ropz played, which I believe is just the maximum amount of maps that you could play in one day here. A 1.34 rating across all maps. ZywOo was still number 1, but look at his T rating, a 1.47 T rating across all the maps. Extraordinary. I mean, completely overshadowing a CT side rating, which that seems to be the easier side to frag on. Most players drop off on T side versus CT side. Ridiculous. Really, really nuts from him. And this match specifically, Ropz 29-9. The T side was just as ridiculous as the CT side, even though it was so short. He had 13 kills. That's a 15-10 game. He almost had 30 kills here, so he could have very easily had 35 in a match like this. And Ropz had some help. I mean, it was everybody really played well this game, but Ropz just somehow stood above everyone else who was just going crazy. So nuts stuff to watch, man. Beautiful match. Yeah, 1.77. The key is 1920 by 1080. That's the secret, so everyone knows. I hope you enjoyed that one. Ropz, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to win the next major? That's my question. Who's going to win the next major? Could it be FaZe? Could it be Vitality? Could it be Na'Vi? Could it be Gambit? Could it be... I mean, there are real contenders out there, man. There are real contenders right now. It's hard to see. And I don't know if it's clear anymore that Na'Vi will simply win it. It's the field is too thick. So, yeah, sick stuff to watch. Hope you enjoyed that. See you again for the next one. We're going to just do all the debuts, I think. So I hope you enjoyed that. And, yeah, as always, be safe.
Got my paws all dirty. Looking for a plate, that's why the dogs up early. With it white beer, eat it like a McFlurry. I ain't got time to chill, I'm in a hurry. Peter game, I got it for my daddy.